This audio introduction to Miriam's story is designed for visually impaired viewers. It outlines the activities and locations that are shown in the film while Miriam is speaking. At the beginning, the screen shows a logo, a grey Yale key with a cherry red tag reading Jewish, Blind and Disabled. Beneath the tag, in blue, the words, "The Key to Independence." Below the logo is the caption, Miriam's story. Miriam is sitting in a dark brown leather armchair in the JBD flat where she lives in Mill Hill. She's wearing a cheerful blue and pink floral blouse and dark trousers, and her collar-length dark hair is held back from her pale face by a narrow Alice band. Light shines through a window behind her, and there's a potted plant on the sill. Sometimes, as Miriam speaks, an infectious smile lights up her face. Film shows her in her kitchen, moving cautiously past a microwave to the fridge. There are bright orange raised marks on the white oven dials below the microwave to make it easier to operate them by feel. She moves down the wide, light hall, using a waist-high dado rail to guide her. Back in the kitchen, she puts on a pair of scarlet oven gloves and slides a baking dish into the oven. We view her sitting at her computer with headphones on, listening, and using an adapted keyboard. When she speaks about the things in the flat that make her life easier, we're shown a big square button marked Help on an alarm box in the hall, and a compact talking book player from the RNIB, with its various controls, all different shapes, to aid identification. When she talks about Sukkot, there's a glimpse of a pergola in the garden, screened off with a tarpaulin to make an improvised sukkah. Later, there's the back view of a woman worker at JBD as she rings round the residents to make sure they're all okay. Miriam pours herself a hot drink, using a sensor in the cup to tell her when it's full, and lifts a loaf of fresh challah bread from the oven, its plaited surface an inviting honey brown. Then she stands with two women at a table in a communal area. Both are wearing plastic gloves and aprons, and one is pouring liquid from a tall kettle. Some sort of activity is clearly underway, and Miriam's face is alight with the pleasure of it all. Later, an older woman with a cap of white hair goes to Miriam, takes her hands in greeting, and tucking one hand in hers, she guides her to a chair in the lounge and settles her in. They share an affectionate smile. Finally, the same woman guides Miriam back to her flat. The two of them move slowly, arm in arm, enjoying each other's company. And that's the end of this audio introduction. Now, Miriam tells her story.
I'm Miriam, and I live in the JBD flat called Francis and Dick James Court in Mill Hill. Initially, in the early 70s, I had a detached retina and couldn't really see with that eye anymore. And then in 1991, I was registered partially sighted because I was starting to lose the sight in the right eye with macular degeneration, then followed glaucoma. So basically at the moment, I've got no sight at all, and that it's been like that for almost over 20 years. Yes, recently became single, and the thought of just going into an ordinary flat and having to answer the door when I couldn't see made me feel very vulnerable and quite scared. It is very challenging because you have to have your wits about you every second that you are awake. Otherwise you knock into something, you drop something, you accidentally turn on something that you shouldn't. Like sometimes when I'm cooking, I've got to make sure if I'm using the front hob that it is the front hob that's on and I haven't accidentally put on the back one as well. When I heard about JBD, I thought that might be my best option. The things in my flat that make my life easier are, of course, the pull cords. I can get hold of somebody quickly. Again, there's a button on the actual alarm box where I can talk to somebody. And also my talking book player, the sonic player, the speech on my computer, smart speaker. There's the talking lift, and also twice a day we get checked on to make sure everything's okay. It makes me feel more secure that, if I didn't answer that, then somebody would come. Living at JBD has suddenly changed my life and made me feel good about myself as well. It's very important to me that I can cook, have a shower when I want, do whatever I want at whatever time I like, and that is important. I like to be like that. I prefer to do things as far as I can for myself. It was important to me to move into a Jewish environment because also I'm fairly Orthodox, and I would have missed those things because I did celebrate them at home. It was nice to know that I was coming into a place that sort of kept up the tradition. For instance, when Sukkot comes around, there's a lulav down there and, fruit or something like that. One can go and, say the bracha. There's something all the time that I can participate in if I want to. I couldn't imagine myself not being in a Jewish environment. It's a very good feeling. What I like about living here is this building. People do care a lot about each other, and apart from having the support of the staff, there are people here who always say, don't forget, if you need me, I'm here, call me anytime. And also to join in, what goes on downstairs. It's very good to have the lounge there. It really is a place where we all meet and have a lot of fun. If I didn't move here, my life would have been difficult. It is still stressful being blind, no matter what, but it's a wonderful feeling getting up in the morning and know that I can do what I like. My life at Jewish Blind and Disabled at present is the way I would like it to be, and I hope it carries on for a long time.
The film ends with the JBD logo and the website address www.jbd.org. The end.